So you had to defend, I think what it really was 60 pass plays on Saturday, which is obviously an enormous amount. I guess it's a good time to ask you to evaluate where you think that the D-line is from a pass rush standpoint, who you think's developing in that regard, and what you think you need to do to even go up, obviously, another level here with some of these guys.
Yeah, you're correct. You're right, man. It was over 60 snaps. I think with the RPOs that we ended up rushing the passer. So Saturday was a day where you were fired up, that you had developed some depth, and we played a lot of guys, and that rotation was really, really important for us. If you look how we played really in the fourth quarter on defense the last couple of weeks, man, we've got some really key stops at critical times. Obviously, the sack in the fourth quarter was a big deal. Right before the turnover. So I'd point to our depth as something that I'm really excited about. Where we are as a rush unit, I think I saw some things Saturday that I was excited about. I think probably for DeAndre Johnson and Zach was probably their best games of the year. And they had a heavy player load, played really, really hard, and made some big time plays. And then, I thought even with like John Ford and Jared Harrison Hunt, and then even Jordan Miller gave me some snaps as rushers that I really hadn't got. And they probably don't get the credit, but, we moved them a bunch off the spot. We got a bunch of pressures, and a lot of that was those inside guys pushing and grinding and moving forward. I think if you asked me at any point, I would always say I wanted our rush to be better. It doesn't matter if you ask me now or a month from now or a month ago. But what I see is the guys are communicating better. They're understanding rush plans together. Saturday was also tough because of the tempo, and then we got some unbalanced line. I mean, there was a lot being thrown at those guys. So I thought, relatively, did a good job up front. You always want more. I thought we played the run game really, really well. There was a lot of play action snaps, transitioning from it's a run to, it's a pass, trying to get out of the middle of the blocks. And I'll say this, man, the quarterback was a super player. I think he's a true NFL talent. I could see that guy being picked in the top 10 picks easily. And I think the last month, man, we've played some really good quarterbacks, and quite a few of them have really, really good legs. And that's always a challenge when you're trying to cage your pocket, plus rush edges and all that. So there's a balancing act to all that as we go forward.
Coach, we've got Kobe Price from the Sun Sentinel. Kobe, go ahead.
Hey, Jess, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. I wanted to ask about a couple of the DNs, specifically Chance. I think he got a little upwards of 20 reps, seems to be in the rotation. But I was wondering, what does he need to do, I guess, to get more reps, get more snaps, I guess, rise in the rotation a little bit more than he has so far this season?
You know what? I think, Chance, I think would tell you about his game right now is Chance is a guy, when you put him in, when we're moving him and he's hitting blocks, he's finding production. I think he'd tell you he's got to find more production when he gets his one-on-one ops. And you don't get those in every pass rush opportunity, but when you do get them, when you're on a specific side, away from the back, to the back, or on a game side, man side, slide side, understanding where you are, and then like as a young player, like owning your pass rush plan and making it come to life on game day. I think that's really where he can probably grow the most. But Chance is a really good young player with a huge upside, and I've seen a lot of improvement here the last few months from him.
And obviously this wasn't as something, I guess, that's prevalent against Pitt just because they threw over 60 times, but overall it seems like you guys have stepped up from a rush defense standpoint. I guess, what do you see as the biggest credit for that?
You know what? I think, that's not just the front four, that's backers and safeties and nickels fitting together. I do think I think guys have understood backfield sets, tight ends alignments at a whole new level. They've understood how they need to align, together, and how we're playing blocks, how we hit blocks. I was really pleased with some of that Saturday. We let two runs pop. We had pressures called on Saturday. I know those guys rushed for 60 or 70 yards or something, and two of them came, within the same drive, which, as a D-line coach, man, that's a real point of pride. I felt like we really could have even had a lot better number than what we had on Saturday in the run game. But the guys are doing better. They're understanding what sets look like, what runs that you're going to get, how we fit them, how we play together, and their fundamentals are improving. So I think that's why.
Coach, next we'll go to Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris, go ahead for Coach Simpson.
Yeah, Coach, just looking at the snap counts kind of week to week, they vary depending on different reasons. And that's why I was kind of wanted to ask what the reasons were. Is it maybe how guys are performing in practice? Is it just kind of how the games go? Is there a particular reason why they're all pretty close, but some guys are getting more playing time than others for.
Sure. I mean, I think there's a ton of factors. What type of game is it, to who's healthy, who's injured in the middle of the game, to how guys are practicing and preparing, more knowledge of a scheme versus, some of the guys are, a little ahead of the other guys. But I think like why I do it the way I do it is for what happened on a Saturday. If you think about, I think I played probably 9 guys Saturday. Well, that's 86 snaps. If I'd have played 6 guys, and maybe sprinkled in 7 and 8, I think that fourth quarter would have probably looked a whole lot different. So, to me, good ball is speed of play, and speed of play is conditioning, and conditioning goes back to how you prepare, but it's also obviously how many guys you can depend on to play winning football.
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Jess, we didn't get a chance to ask Manny about the missed tackles, but that was your guys' best game, I think. Only 11 or something like that, according to Pro Football Focus. Just the improvement, man, the last couple of weeks in that regard, and then I got something else for you after that. Yeah,
I mean, I think I said this a few weeks ago. I mean, when you got a fire, you got to put it out, and when you have an issue, it's kind of like when guys are dropping balls, man. I mean, it can become mental for them. It's like, oh gosh, and then you don't trust each other, you don't trust your technique, your fundamentals. And so, we really went back into the lab with the guys, and obviously it's become a huge emphasis, whether you're watching tape, showing good examples, bad examples from practice, how you practice it. We've done all that, and you can see the kids' confidence is growing. We're doing a better job tackling. It's not perfect, but really it's never perfect. I mean, you can turn on games on Friday night or Sunday afternoons or Saturday, and making an open field tackle is one of the hardest things you can do in the world, especially some of these cats that, you're trying to get down in space. But really, we're all, we're fired up about, like, our arrow is pointing up, but there's still some room, obviously, for improvement.
And then the follow-up was just, since Sam Howell kind of had that big day where he was, running the football, and I think Carolina had over 200 yards, you guys have really shut down the run pretty good the last 2 weeks. And I guess from a line perspective, what are you seeing that's leading to that improvement?
You know what I'm seeing is guys trusting their technique. I'm seeing, like, guys understanding that, hey, we're fixing to get power scoop, power slip, or I'm fixing to get zone dig right here, or we're doing a better job, like, communicating, a tight end's coming back across the formation, and, guys playing with speed, and just, I feel like, truthfully, we've been pretty consistent with our front four in the run game most of the year, but I definitely think we've had a spike of improvement. I told the team that, last week, like, I think good football teams have 3 spikes in improvement every year. One at the beginning, games 1 and 2, you can have one in the middle of the year, and then the great teams have one at the end of November and that time of year. And I think you're really seeing us because of the way the guys have worked. I think because of the intangibles that we have with these kids and the way they believe, I think you have seen a spike of improvement here the last few weeks.
Thank you.
Coach, last hand up for you. I got is Wyatt Kopelman from UMTV. Wyatt, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Leonard Taylor, the freshman. I know he's been really trying to break into this rotation for the defensive tackle. Could you just tell me a little bit about what you've noticed out of him over the past few weeks, and where else you think he can continue to improve going forward?
You know what? I've been really pleased with LT in a lot of fronts. LT is a young man that's humble. He's a 5-star guy who's got a humble heart, man. Very coachable kid. He understands where he's at, what, the things that are kind of like his superpowers. He understands, what his kryptonite is and what he's trying to learn, and making this transition from being a great high school player now trying to become a great college player. I love his approach to work, man. This kid comes to practice, he comes in the meeting, he takes notes, pays attention. He does a really good job. I think, and I've said this, quite a few times about LT the last couple months. When you come as a freshman, everything that kid is seeing and hearing and learning is new, because the language is different, the technique is different, schematically we're different. He's learning situational football, like it's And it's the same transition guys have to make, obviously, from college to NFL, but they're older and more mature when they do that, and they're full-time players. Obviously, that kid's taking on, being a college student for the first time. So, with his approach, man, it's been fun. What he can do is he is a big, powerful man who plays really, really hard. And what I've seen is his, whether as a rusher or as playing run fundamentals, you see those things like really improving in practice. And that next step is saying, okay, now you want to see those things come to life on 1st and 10 or 2nd and long or 3rd and short, where he understands, okay, this is what's about to happen. These are the tools that I'm about to use. And we've certainly seen glimpses of that the last 4 weeks, and fired up about what's ahead for him as well.
Coach, I lied. We got one more for you. This is Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan.
All right.
Hi, Coach. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Susan?
Good. My question is about Nesta Silvera. I know he
Yeah.
the last game. How is he doing? How's his progress? Can we expect him at the next game?
I sure hope so. I'll let Manny kind of speak to injuries and illnesses and all that stuff. But he was with us last night and meetings and walkthroughs and such like that. So certainly got our fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Simpson, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today, and good luck this week in practice. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you. Y'all take
Thank
care.
you.